Hey, 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 New Hope Church. Pastor Jim here, coming at you with episode 4 of our current Soulcare series on prayer. So, if you have been liking these videos, please hit that like button and leave us a comment. We love to get comments and see how what we're doing is making a difference in your life and in your walk with God. So, as I said, we are moving into episode 4. So we're talking about prayer. So where I want to go today has to do with spiritual conflict and praying in the process of spiritual conflict. John chapters 13 through 17 is just a beautiful picture of Jesus' love for his disciples. This is the night before Jesus is going to be arrested, taken into custody, and then eventually crucified. So what we see in John chapters 13 through 17 is the last conversation, the last full conversation that Jesus has with his disciples. And in this conversation, he's telling them what is about to happen. Well, at the end of chapter 16, Jesus says, I have told you all of these things that he's just been talking to him about. He says, I've told you all these things so that in me you may have peace. He says, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. He tells them that they are going to be enduring trouble. This is just what they've got coming, and that's for all of us too. Because spiritual conflict can occur in lots of different ways. It can occur in temptations. It can occur in relationship problems. It can occur as we are walking through tragedies or traumatic situations. So many ways that the enemy of our soul can gain access to us. And there are so many ways that we can give him access to us by our actions. Well, last week, Pastor Tim taught through Genesis chapter 3, which told the story about Satan in the Garden of Eden. One of the main things that narrative tells us is that Satan has access to influence us. Now, whether it's Satan himself or, as we learned, when Satan fell from heaven, when he originally sinned, that he took a third of the angels with him, which is what we see here on earth with evil spirits and or what we call demons. They show up here and they're able to have all kinds of impact in different ways in our lives. And so what we see in that narrative is that that these spirits, or the enemy, Satan himself, can have influence in our lives. And we see this all throughout the Old Testament and also the New Testament, that that enemy has access to us and can influence and can do things in our lives. So let's remember that it's normal to experience spiritual conflict. This is not something that is, oh my gosh, I'm having some spiritual conflict right now. I can't believe it. Well, that is just life. That's life for us as believers. So we want to be able to get to the point where we're not surprised when this happens. It's normal to experience this. John chapter 10, verse 10 tells us that the thief, or Satan, comes to kill and steal and destroy. That's his MO. That's what he does, which means we as believers should not expect any less that's what's going to happen to us. He's going to come after us. The enemy wants to kill, steal, and destroy from our lives. So I would suggest we have a decision to make. As believers, we have a decision to make. We either become passive and defensive, or we take more of a proactive and offensive position. Not, cowering in the corner, praying that God would deliver us from different things, but we go after. When conflict comes to us, we want to go after that conflict. We want to take that conflict head on and attack back, fight back for ourselves. In Luke chapter 10, verse 18, Jesus affirmed to his disciples that he gave them authority over the enemy's spirits and over his works. He tells them that. Jesus told the disciples that. In John 14, verse 12, Jesus tells his disciples that anyone who has faith in him will be able to do the things that he has been doing. What has Jesus been doing? Been taking authority over the enemy and over his works in people's lives. And he says we have that same authority if we choose to operate in that authority. So, over this next month or so, we'll be talking about praying through this idea of spiritual conflict and what it looks like in entering spiritual conflict successfully and not get beaten down by that. How we can walk in God's authority over the enemy's influence in our lives. We'll be considering how to be proactive in our spiritual conflicts. So I hope you stay tuned. I hope you check back in with us when the next videos come out in the Wednesdays to come. And we'll look forward to chatting more about prayer through spiritual conflict then. So everybody have a great rest of your week, and we shall see you all soon.